Hey everybody. I just wanted to say what's up to everyone out there who listens to, or not listens, I'm sorry. This is the first video blog or vlog that I'm doing or have done. Getting a little lazy. I'm not a professional blogger, so it's a little uh, tedious sometimes for me to do the blogs on the website, but I figured it might be a little easier, especially with this particular topic, which is the BP oil spill, to just go ahead and do it in this format. Anyway, I just have a few opinions on that. I definitely feel that it's an environmental 9/11, and I'm not quite sure that it's being portrayed or taken in that sort of a light. And what I mean by that is post 9/11 or during 9/11, there was such a shift and such a change in people's consciousness and a motivation to want to protect ourselves, but then also get the people who hurt us that way, and to rectify the situation. And there were a number of sweeping laws and bills that were passed and measures that were taken to, you know, uh, to protect us or keep us, safe or what have you. And I think that the same sort of thing needs to be done here. Um, there needs to be more outrage over it, or at least more. It should be a catalyst for all of this environmental legislation and energy bills and climate bills and anything else uh, revolving around our energy dependence on fossil fuels, and a change out of that into something that is cleaner, safer, and it should catapult us into developing that technology, which the majority, I believe 80%. I was actually at a talk that I believe it was the Pew Research Center put together with UBS Wealth Management, and Sir David King was there, and I believe he pointed out. Oh no, actually, I'm sorry. It was Phyllis Cutino who actually pointed this out, that 80% of the um, consumption is going to be coming from the emerging countries. And basically, if the United States is the one creating the next energy source or conservation technology, that's a huge and massive export for us and will catapult us back into a leadership position, as far as manufacturing or exporting or what have you. But we definitely need to be moving forward with that. I think this oil spill should be the catalyst to um, create the framework legislatively and government wise that will allow for the investment from the private sector as well as from the government into these areas. I believe that our lack and our unwillingness to move quickly and do so is really detrimental to our future. Another thing that I want to point out in regard to this oil spill is that it's gushing out however many tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of gallons of oil a day. And it really seems to me that it's more so not about stopping the oil or the leak as much as it is about saving the pipeline and saving that supply. I believe that that could have been capped off a long time ago, and it could have been shut. Uh, Navy SEALs are experts in underwater demolition. If we have bunker bombs that can hit Afghanistan or Afghani caves and, you know, blow them up and implode them, then I don't see why a pipe that's on the seabed, which is under a mile of water, so the water pressure from that mile of water is extremely heavy on that. And if you've seen the footage of it shooting out, that's a lot of pressure coming out. So all these little devices that I think they're coming up with to try to cap this and suck the oil out and all that stuff. There's a lot of pressure pushing out. If you, when you see that videotape, it looks like that, you know, the gas and the natural gas coming out of there are coming out unimpeded, which means that there's a lot of pressure coming out of there. So I don't see why they just don't really try to cap it off and then dig or drill for a new well, which would take 2 or 3 months. I believe that this could have been capped a while ago. It doesn't seem as though BP necessarily has the smartest people in the room trying to do this, and sometimes the most simple solutions are this, or I'm sorry, the best solutions are the simplest solutions, and sometimes the most common sense solutions. Let's stop the bleeding and then figure out, you know, from that point what the diagnosis is, what we're going to do, you know, to save the patient at that point. But at first, you have to stop the bleeding, and they're not stopping the bleeding. 40% of the wetlands are down in that area. This is going to cause catastrophic issues. It's one thing for Exxon Valdez that was in Alaska, where it probably the fishing industry and the wildlife are the biggest industries that were hurt, but we have tourism in this area. Some of the best beaches in the country, in the Florida Panhandle, like Destin. New Orleans has great uh, you know, seafood and restaurants that'll be affected by this. This really, you know, Biloxi, with the casinos and the gambling, they were hit hard with Katrina, and now they're, you know, hit hard again with this. And, you know, hopefully this doesn't sweep around the coast, but it would be devastating to places like Miami, which have already seen a drop in real estate prices due to the recession. And if you take away the beautiful beaches from Miami, then it may really sink into an economic depression that will take much longer to get out of. So there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle here, and I believe that this has to be, the bleeding has to be stopped with this, number one. BP, as well as Halliburton and the other, was a Transocean or what have you, I can't remember their name. But all of them have to be liable for this. This is not something, I hope that the states sue these companies, because the states definitely have the manpower and the funding to fight with the corporation when corporations try to drag things out. But they need to do the right thing in light of this. And if they don't, then citizens have to do the right thing in light of this, and not buy BP oil, not service the people or patronize these companies that are not doing the right thing. And if it weren't for our dependence and on fossil fuel and their insistence on keeping us on fossil fuel, you know, many people don't know that oil companies control the patents to lithium-ion battery technology, which is why outside of the Tesla road cars, you don't really see that technology in cars, which is extremely efficient. So, you know, for example, if you go back to the 50s and you take a look at what people's thought of the future would be, 2000, you see flying cars, you see, you know, very futuristic looking environments, and we're very much in the same environment that we were back in the 50s, still driving internal combustion engines, and we went to space in rockets, and we haven't gone much past that because the oil companies have kept us on the tit and have kept us addicted to oil, and have stymied any new and more efficient technologies that would help us. Another point that Sir David King brought up was that it takes about 455 exajoules of energy to be harvested annually for us to get 55 actual useful exajoules of power that we can really use. So we are losing in there somewhere around 400 exajoules of energy. That is about the most inefficient that anyone could ever operate, and we definitely have to move forward. It's time, and this oil spill should be the catalyst for that to happen. So thank you for watching, and talk soon.